Yes, sir. We live. Tap in. Wanna fucking sing. I'ma be where I really wanna be. Don't fuck with me, don't fuck with you. I'm cooking up a beef. On the motherfucking collard greens. Hey. I'ma be where I really wanna be. Oh, praises. Way too much. Y'all talking honestly. Way too much. What's up? Salute the world. It's the one and only Master myself daily. I'm out here tapped in, man, enjoying another powerful level up. Welcome to the Master's Table. We're getting started shortly. Appreciate everybody tapping in. You like my incense, and we'll go ahead and tap in, man. Go to another dimension, another planet. Got some masters in the house. Salute. Good to have y'all on, man. Another episode of the Master's Table. Yes, sir. Featuring Blood of Luna, the one and only. Get started right after this song, brothers. It's time to tap in. This is the Master's Table, man. What an honor it is to be with you again. I'll go by the name Master myself. And this is another preview in time of what's taking place in the expansion of IMT Nation. Alright, each of us are on the brink of evolution, and the evolution continues day in and day out. There is no end to this evolution. We're on this path for life, and it's an honor to be on this path. It's an honor to be a leader in this path. It's an honor to be an example of what it looks like to be a master of self. That's what we do here at the Master's Table. Yes, sir. Salute to the rest of the world, man. It's an honor and a pleasure, like I said, to be with you. Again, this is another powerful episode, another powerful download and mastermind. This is what we call the Master's Table, right? This is my collective expansion and the IMC Nation TV show. I am Master myself, as I introduced myself before, also known as Jordan Damari. All right, I'm here based in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm speaking to you from our base 5 location at this moment in time. And man, what an honor it is to be in front of you again. Every single time that we meet, it's another level up. It's another moment and documentation of what's taking place in our lives, in the progression of our lives. All right. And man, there's so much change that's happening internally for me that I'm excited to share and speak on. And, you know, as I do so, as I share with other brothers, you know, who are tapped in and ready and willing to upgrade in their personality, their perspective, their expansion in life. Each of us have so much to step into and to really build as we share what it is that we have to offer in value. All right, so know first and foremost that everything that I do and say here is done under the banner of entertainment. All right, so don't take what it is that I say seriously. That goes for me and all the rest of the brothers that are here and that tap in and you know report in from their experience of life as well. All right. Number two, no one understands for adults and for men. All right. Well, it's for the rest of the world as well. So I was gonna say just for men. Normally, our nighttime streams are only for men, right? So for the fellas that are tapped in now, know that you can get a stream from the Master's Table at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every single Monday night. All right. And you know these are times that are possibly subject to change. I'll update you as they change. Number three, of course, know and understand. Do not break the laws of the land you're tuning in from, wherever it is that you are. Right. Respect the laws of the land that you're tapping in from. We start with respect, all right? And then if those laws are oppressing you, then you have the right to fight back. So feel free to express yourself that way. Number four, of course, know and understand this is for adults and adults only. That means that you are responsible as an adult. You are responsible for your own actions, all right? So don't take what it is I say and take it out of context and go and apply it in your life and fuck up your life. Don't do that, right? It's not meant for that to you know take place in your outside world and experience, all right? And last but not least, know and understand if you are here, this is the master's table, right? So I'm going to treat you as a master, and I encourage you to live as a master. At least when you're here, if nowhere else, you can have this as a foundation in terms of the way that you're thinking and the way that you're approaching life. Think with mastership, right? Think with the attitude of a master. What would it be like if you were that master that you desire to be, all right? So once again, gentlemen, it's an honor to have you here. We have Brother Obed that's here, Brother Elias that are tapped in as well. And let's see who else. Brother Trey is on as well. No camera, right? So an honor to have y'all here live with me and tapping in. And we know we have a lot of people that are keeping up with the show after the fact and things of that nature, right? So you'll see the increase of the algorithms. You'll see the increase in the expansion and whatnot. And, you know, it's interesting to me because, you know, there's so much value that I essentially, you know, speak on or speak from, right? When I add my thoughts and at least from my perspective, from my thoughts, my insights and so on and so forth, and the knowledge in which I've acquired through my experiences in life, right, that I speak on here at the Master's Table, that once again, when people go back through the history, right, of what it is that we've been building and what we've been masterminding to do, and you know, co-create, if you will, man, there's been so much expansion in terms of just the evolution of the teachings, the evolution of, you know, the perspectives, if you will, the evolutions of each of our own perspectives of ourselves, right? And so, you know, for me, this here series, this here lecture, if you will, or teaching that I have to share with the rest of the world is, you know, that the evolution, it never ceases to exist. It never ceases to continue and move forward, right? And what this evolution is that we are on, this is a life path. This is a life evolution, right? We set ourselves in the direction of becoming the best version of ourselves and not settling for anything less, right? That's what, for me, that's what translates as a master, right? Somebody that dedicated themselves to do this every single day. Say, you know what, man, for the rest of my life, the moment that I changed my name, right, from just Jordan Damari Minifield, right, and I now took on the name, the character, the aspect of master myself, I declared to myself, I made a personal obligation to every single day, right, decide that I'm going to be a master today. I'm going to show up again and encounter whatever it is that I encounter today. And regardless of what it is that I encounter, I'm going to push myself beyond that. Right. So that's the first step, is knowing and acknowledging, yo, I got to start somewhere. I got to start and recognize, yo, I'm on a path. I've been, you know, before IMC Nation, I was living on a path. I was, you know, moving and so on and so forth. And I you know, was moving with a certain momentum of what it was that I had been taught to live on. Right. So that involved at the time, you know, my family has always been involved with the church. Right. So I was very heavily involved with that. I was also involved in the martial arts, you know, lifestyle, right? So, you know, I'm you know, 23 23 years in terms of learning what it's like to live from a perspective of a martial artist, right? I come from a tradition that's called Tang Soo Do. It's a sister art to Taekwondo. So it's a traditional version of karate, right? So I've incorporated that. Not only that, I also come with a history of connection to some of the highest level. Jesuit is the actual religion, if you will, or those are the teachings that I come from, if you will. So right, that's a Catholic background. I kind of integrated with the Christian background. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that aspect of me. I come from that those traditions and things of that nature, right? So having that foundation, that was the lifestyle, that was the path in which I was living until I met my mentor AZD, right? And the moment that I met him, my life began to change and I began to take on a different flavor of life. And why is that? Well, I recognized once again that I was living on a path. I was moving with a certain momentum for quite some time, right? Up and until 2014, actually, right? So I'm kind of like jumping all the way around my timeline here, but I was moving in a certain direction. I was, like I said, I was moving with a Catholic / Jesuit background, integrated with Christian and integrated with the martial arts teachings that I grew up with. Integrating with just the family tradition that I was growing up with, and not only those things, but of course being black here in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? Because in Arizona is completely different as in comparison to like New York or comparison to Florida or comparison to Georgia, if you will. Right? These are different experiences that I was coming from. But now I took all of that, right? All of those realms of experience, if you will, and I began to transmute that, right? That process that I was living on. And where I began to transmute it was I began to live on a different process that was called the AZD process, right? That is called the AZD process. And that is how I began to integrate and be the leader that I am, become the light that I am, the vessel that I am, right, for within IMC Nation, but not only within IMC Nation, for the community that's around me. You get what I'm saying? I'm a light and a vessel for many people that are around me, right? And so I'm saying all of that to say that, each of us has his path. Each of us has this storyline that was running before we integrated, right, with IMC Nation. And what's so vitally important for you to know and understand is that this is always your storyline that you are telling, right? You are telling your storyline. You're living an experience that is so unique that it's so unique that if you don't express it, if you don't share it with the rest of the world has no idea, right, what your expression is or what your value is, right? So, the evolution of my character, evolution of my experience has never ceased to move forward, has never ceased to continue to grow and evolve outside of the bubble in which I was first living in and experiencing, right? Living as a black man in Arizona, living as a preacher's kid, living as a martial artist, living this realm of life that once again was so familiar with, and I was creating with and living in a momentum with, right, for so long. At some point, at the point that I met my mentor, which was first online, 2014, up until 2020, right, I was having another world of experience, right? So I was digitally, online. I was learning as much as I could. I was getting in contact with the men that were around at the time. I was following and tracking along with my mentor as much as possible. And, the beautiful aspect or the shift in my life came the moment that I touched down in the city that my mentor was at, right? And even before that, if I want to track before that, the moment I made the decision to buy the ticket to leave and go and meet my mentor, my life began to change. I began to see life differently. I began to relate to life differently. Because why? Because I spent so much time in life, building my character up and until that point where I didn't know who I was becoming, right? But I knew where I wanted to go. I knew who I wanted to meet. I know who I wanted to begin to expand, right, with. And that was IMC Nation. That was the men that were, around at the time. And now here we are in 2023, and I'm speaking to you on a thing that was only an idea a couple years ago, and now it's called IMC TV, right? And we are in a very vital moment in time where the expansion of IMC Nation is now hitting on a worldwide platform, meaning more and more people are becoming more aware. It wasn't until 6 months ago when the TikTok apprentice group that is followed or led by Master Yogi Chris, right, who's a high level officer within IMC Nation, the IMC Nation captain, right, the only man that follows under my mentor AZD directly, right, and then he manages everything else, right? It wasn't until that man began to lead and do what he's been doing, right, within IMC Nation that IMC Nation has hit on a different level, right, when it comes to the worldwide platform and the impact and the influence in which we are moving with at this point in time. Each of us has a world of experience, right, to begin to share with the world. So that's what this is, right? This is the Master's Table. This is the first level of experience that I want to introduce you to that, is so unique in the sense of, I know that there's nobody else that can correlate to my personal experience within IMC Nation. That's why I was sharing the history of my path and my evolution thus far. And like I said, the evolution that I've been on, I've never seen it cease to exist. I've never seen it cease in momentum, right? So with that in mind, as I speak right now, I see that there's a momentum that's in generation that's constantly flowing right now that will allow each of us to take our lives to whatever that next level may be, right? But it's a matter of continuing that momentum, right? Continuing the evolution, the speed in which we've been moving at thus far in life that will allow you to transcend whatever obstacles it is that you may face on a daily basis, right? For example, for myself, for the last cycle, right, from the last episode that we did on IMC TV, right, for the Master's Table until now, I've had an extreme amount of resistance, if you will, right, when it came to just speaking, right, when it came to just going live and streaming my thoughts and ideals, right, there was a lot of resistance internally for me. What that rooted from was, a lack of expression, a lack of creation, and so on and so forth. And I can continue to point to the different aspects in which, that felt like I was halting my momentum, if you will, right? But knowing, one thing that I know, every time I say that, I always think of Socrates, right? Socrates says, the only thing that I know is that I know nothing at all, right? And it's one of my favorite phrases. And it's so refreshing to always hear that or have that thought, because, anytime that I think I know something, that thing that I know or the thing that may be subject to change, right? Regardless, the one thing that I do know is that I know that my life is my own, and I am the one that's here to tell my story, right? So I'm going to tell the story the way that I want it to continue to play out, right? So as we move forward, as we continue to grow on IMC Nation, IMC TV, what's going to come for the Master's Table, there's going to be an immense amount of expansion when it comes to how many people will participate, how many people will join, how many people enjoy these lessons or teachings from my own life, right, as I continue to share. And I want to open up the board, if you will, want to open up the dialogue to have other brothers also share their personal experiences in terms of their expansion. Because once again, as I said at the beginning, if you are here and you are tapped in, you are a master of self. You are a master at whatever dynamic it is that you've been learning at in life. And, whether you are aware of it or not, that's your opportunity to share, right, your insights in life. This is your opportunity to add more value to somebody else in this world of experience. Because let me get my yoga block here. You have an opportunity to begin to share with somebody else how much you've been learning, right, or what it is that you've been experiencing thus far in this life. And our perspectives in life are so unique. Maybe somebody has made you believe that, oh man, you're having an experience that is so similar to somebody else, or maybe somebody made you believe that you are just like everybody else, whatever case. Well, no, we have the complete opposite philosophy. We have a complete opposite process here. And the process is to know that you are the only version of you. I know that there's no other master myself in this world that can speak from my perspective, that can talk about these things or lead this group, or that can continuously add value in many different ways and so on and so forth, right? No matter what, I know that I'm unique in that, right? And each master that comes to tap in, each person that watches these recordings after the fact, you have to know and understand that you are so unique that it doesn't even make sense for you not to share your story. It doesn't make sense for you to not speak from your perspective and to add your voice to the collective perspective. Because why? There's nobody else that's doing life like you. Nobody else is living from the experience that you are living. And when you recognize that, you are going to operate differently in this life. You have an immense amount of potential on the inside of you that has been awaiting your awakening, has been awaiting your awakening. There is so much within you that when you begin to speak on it, you're going to create effects in your world. You're going to create a different dynamic. You're going to relate to the world differently. Why? Because it's your choice of yours to share your story. It's a choice of yours. And when you make these choices, once again, you can see the momentum of life continue and continue to build, right? Or when you make a choice to stay the same, when you make a choice to not do anything, you see the momentum of life slow down. You see how you don't move forward. You see how you don't do what you want to do, right? Like I was saying, for the last cycle, man, I was having an extreme amount of resistance of just sharing, different pieces of my process, doing what I normally do, streaming on a consistent basis. I still streamed here and there, right? I wasn't posting on Instagram like I normally do. I wasn't sharing my thoughts and ideals. I wasn't even, pursuing the level of thought that I, am normally used to, right? Exposing myself to different levels of truth and research and, doing the work that is done right behind the scenes at all points in time, right? Even like uploading my recordings and things of that nature, like so many different details, right? That go into the process of a master, right? And I was, experiencing all these resistances and so on and so forth. And then now I find myself here and I'm like, man, this is what I love to do. I love to stream my thoughts. I love to get on here and add value to others as much as possible just by sharing different aspects of me and sharing the way that I've been thinking and so on and so forth, right? And these are the different aspects that as I begin to share them, I know that other brothers may, start to open up their minds and start to open up, okay, how can I begin to share my process and add value here and there and so on and so forth and be a vessel and be a light, right, to someone else? How can I do that, right? When you start to ask these questions, you're going to know and understand that your evolution is following the words in which you're using to describe your evolution. Your experience is happening as a result of the words that you're using to describe your experience. Imagine if you never told anybody what your name was. Appreciate that, Brother Trey. Brother Trey throwing in some fires in the chat. Imagine nobody knew who your name was and nobody knew your story. Imagine nobody knew who you were and it just stayed that way. How would you begin to evolve? How would you grow? We grow through our communication. We grow through our words and experience. We grow through sharing the different aspects of ourselves that make us so unique. Once again, there's only one version of you. And when you share that, you begin to measure, once again, your evolution, right? The first time that I made a YouTube video, for example, right? This is, hopefully this is valuable to y'all, but this was extremely valuable for me, knowing and understanding that, I had to start somewhere, right? So I remember, the very first time me sitting down, doing my YouTube, I couldn't tell you how many times I sat down to do a YouTube video. I literally have videos, like in the backlog, I have, a external hard drive, right? So I literally have a whole folder that was like first video blog launch or whatever the case may be. And I tried to do like 4 or 5 videos at once. and I was sitting down, and you know, I was speaking and so on and so forth, and I would just get lost in the video, right? Meaning, like, I would start on one topic and I would be all the way on this other side of the topic, and I literally would have no structure, no foundation of, okay, this is you know, what I want to say, this is how I want to say, this is how I want to deliver, and so on and so forth. But I sat down and I did it, right? And that was the first step, knowing and recognizing, yo, I have an opportunity to step into this, you know, world, if you will. I have an opportunity to create, right, this world of experience, or I can just, you know, remain the same and stay where I am. But for each of us, you know, you have this moment in life where, you know, there's some point where you have to recognize, yo, it's just my life, and I'm either sharing my life, or I'm living my life, and I'm not sharing any aspect of it. That's, once again, like I was saying last cycle, like, that's what everybody else is doing, right? So let's try the opposite. Let's start to share our insights in life, right? Let's share our experiences, right? Once again, you know, I think everybody here is familiar, and everybody that watches after the fact will be familiar with the feeling of sharing your thoughts and ideals, right? Or wanting to do that and then not doing it, right? At that point in time, you feel bad. Why do you feel bad? Because you didn't express yourself. You didn't let off your chest. You didn't say what you wanted to say, right? But I'm telling you this because, once again, if you are ever stuck in life, you feel like you just can't move past this dynamic, or move past this obstacle, or you feel trapped, or whatever the case may be, man, whatever the fuck is going on in your life, whatever your excuse is for not evolving, well, you don't have to stay there. You have an opportunity to move beyond that, but it starts with your expressions. It starts with your communication, right? Sitting down and doing a video of some sort, it allows you to get your thoughts and ideals out of your mind, right? And begin to express them, and you know, you document that moment in time. So once again, like I said, I literally have YouTube videos, right? They're available on the Self Code. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers on that channel. So, you know, we've been building for quite some time. I think 2020 was the first time I started that channel. Right, so you can go back through the history of that channel, and you can find, you know, my YouTube videos. I actually have a whole nother YouTube video channel that I was thinking of for the master myself, but that one's getting ready to be deleted, and you know, all that transferred over, and so on and so forth. But my point is, man, like, you can track your own history, right? The moment that you sit down and you actually start to share your thoughts and ideals, right? And that's what allows you to see the progression, right? Because what you measure grows. Right? If you've never measured your communication by putting your communication to the test and sharing your thoughts and ideals on a consistent basis, then you don't know how to grow your communication, because why? You haven't gotten yet started, right? It's like the first time you put up a status, if you will, on Facebook, right? There was some kind of experience. There was some kind of evolution, because man, now you know how to share a post on Facebook, right? If you will, like, imagine you got to teach your grandma or grandpa or a family member that does have no idea how to operate Facebook or operate Twitter or operate Instagram, things of that nature, right? These are all different aspects that you are a master at now, after having had established a consistency and repetition, right? These are elements of a master, if you will, right? Establishing consistency, establishing repetition, establishing a new pattern of creation, right? These patterns, if you will, once you begin to measure them, once again, you can now know what it's going to take to grow, right? So as we move forward for the master's table, I foresee all of us, right, sharing our insights and perspectives on a greater level. And then, you know, the heart of this group, when I first started on Telegram, you know, was to create a collective mastermind that adds value to each other, right? So each of us have our own world of experience, and once again, when you share that world of experience, you can begin to share, you can begin to have insight into somebody else's mind. And now when you're thinking in life, you're no longer thinking with just your mind, you're now thinking with all of these minds, and you operate collectively with that, right? You know how to approach, let's say that you want to approach a woman, as a man in 2023, right? If you have never seen the master of masters when it came to women, AZD, in set, right? If you've never seen him in interacting with women, then you may only have a certain reference. You get what I'm saying, for what that looks like and what that experience may be. However, the moment that you witness that, or the moment that you witness another brother of yours see you see them go into set flawlessly, right? Not even thinking about what's next, and they, what to say here and what to do there, or how to move here, or how to treat this woman, or how to operate socially in general, right? The moment that you see that, you now have a new reference, and now you can operate differently in life. You can move with confidence when you go into a store, if you will, like a grocery store, for example, right? Or if you step into a restaurant, for example, right? All of these different scenarios and situations become apparent to you. You now have a new eye to see, because now you're not thinking with only your mind. You have other people's minds and what other people have said in mind, right? And that's the definition of a mastermind. Operating with just one mind is, for me, I would think is the one of the greatest sins in 2023 as a man, right? When you're operating with only one mind, not when you have access to thousands of men all across the world, right? No, you can belong somewhere. You can tap in. You can plug into something that's so much greater than just yourself. And that's what we have within IMC Nation, right? Cool. So, any feedback or insights from anything that's been said so far from any brothers that's on? Not we'll
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, brother Obed, Os.
Ever since I've been learning from AZD, as far as learning perspectives and getting to know you, myself,
Yeah.
and also the other guys from IMC, it was really.
Your audio, brother, your audio is going in and out for some reason. Sounds like it's going in and out.
All right, let me headphones off.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah. So, like, ever since I had gone to the first Beast Camp last year, as far as me, making different moves, as far as, making it a point to hang around with like-minded people, the way I take action has to be different. And also making a point to really change my perspective to the way I think. And I'm still going through the evolution process. Like I still got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
And last week I actually moved out of my parents' house, but I fortunately came back, but I'm still, making a point to, progress. But
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
But as far as, learning from AZD, like I've learned a lot from him as far as, opening up when it comes to my communication. Because before I used to be a shy guy. Extremely quiet, didn't want to, open up to people. Like I was always closed off, just always wanted to be in my own shelf. But as soon as learning from AZD, from learning him and finding out about him through Brian Casella, he's really changed my life, and I'm still going through the process. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share as of right now. So
yes, sir. Yeah, man. Well, congratulations on that evolution so far. You're really just getting started, really. In terms of the evolution, and it's a longer path than a lot of people may perceive. You know what I'm saying, from the outside. We're following a man. My mentor AZD, for those who don't know, has been studying and on a living process, a creative process for over 20 years, right? So this is a very, very well-established individual, right, that we've been learning from. Not only that, but this organization has taken a long time for it to be, in full assimilation, to have organized activities, right? To on a consistent basis, schedule ourselves every single day, really, right? On a certain path, to live on the path in which we've been living. And it's not easy right? This path, this channel, IMC Nation, IMC TV, the Master's Table in particular, these are not channels that are open to the entire world in a sense. It's only for select individuals that are ready and willing to take on the responsibility in their lives. Not everybody wants that, especially as a man here in 2023. A lot of men are being effeminated. You get what I'm saying? They're being demasculated, right? They are being programmed and conditioned to operate in their feminine nature and no longer, have a strong reference of what masculine energy looks like and what it resembles. I can't forget that because I grew up in that culture, right? Where I was learning how to fight from my dad and firsthand. You get what I'm saying? My dad's a high level martial artist, a master, really. Is I want to say 3 degrees past, master, if you will. Right. So, and that's just one realm of life, if you will, right? He has, other mastery in different areas and so on and so forth, right? So that's the collective, that's the lineage in which I'm tapped into. And I know each of us has that direct connection and lineage, if you will, right? So having that in mind, this is not meant for those who are, still trying to figure out if they want to be committed to their own life, if they want to have a purpose in life and so on and so forth. No, we are the men in 2023 that are taking responsibility for our lives and deciding, there's actually nothing that matters more than my creative process. There's actually nothing that matters more than me being a service to myself. Why? So that I can better serve the rest of the world. So I can better serve, the people that I care about around me. Right? I didn't start IMC Base 5 just because I wanted to start a base or because it was some ideal or whatever the case may be. No, I started it because I care about the men within IMC Nation. And those who said that they wanted to be around me, well, now you have my attention and energy. You get what I'm saying? Invested in you because, I want to give back to you in the same manner that you are giving to me. And this is a creative ecosystem that we're plugged into, right? Nothing that is happening within IMC Nation is happening on accident. I've talked about this before on our mastermind calls in the past, right? Before IMC TV. But, within IMC Nation, there's a very, very strong foundation and philosophy and prophecy, right, that goes with all of these teachings, all of these vibrations, if you will, that in which we've been in cooperation with and constantly aligning ourselves to, right? So I know that every single brother that I meet within IMC Nation is a connection I've either had in my, quote unquote past life, or it's a connection that I'm now bridging this life, right? So I can continue to build the network and the infrastructure of what it is that we are building as a collective, right? Because we're so much more powerful when we move together. Think about, a very, very strong datum, if you will, within IMC Nation. We have a coat of arms, and I don't have the actual, maybe I do. Hold on. It's important. Let me pull it up. I do. This is a coat of arms. I've shown this a couple times. This is our coat of arms. Low battery, 20%. All right. Right. So on this coat of arms, you'll see on the very outside there's beads. Right. Those beads are represented in many different ways, but they represent spirituality. Right. On the outside, there's also phrases. I won't get into those just now. We'll break this down continuously as we continue to move forward. Actually, I'll do a whole episode. I just realized that I can do a whole episode breaking down the coat of arms within IMC Nation so that y'all can have insight. But one point that I do want to point out to everybody is see all the white figures on the outside? Those are ants, right? The white figures that are ants. Those ants are a very, very strong piece into how we operate as a collective mastermind, right? Because the power in the ant culture, if you will, right? It's not found in that one ant, right? It's not just the queen bee. It's not just the the workers, the soldiers that go out. No, it's the collective organization of them cooperating together, right? So at the base is at the foundation of what it is that we've been building, right? Within this organization, the Master's Table, right? Within this organization, within IMC Nation, has been the understanding that everybody has a role, right? Everybody plays their role and everybody fulfills that. And as we each fulfill our roles within IMC Nation, we operate as a cooperation, right? We learn how to organize together. And it's not light subject in which I'm talking about, because it's not easy, right, to coordinate. It's not easy to organize. The reason why is because, the second law of entropy, or the second law of thermodynamics, is the law of entropy, right? Meaning that everything is that's left to itself is meant to deteriorate, right? Meaning, man, I wish I had a specific law. Let me see if Siri will help me out. What is the second law of thermodynamics? Law of physics stating that systems spontaneously evolve towards states of higher entropy. The second law of thermodynamics is a physical law based on universal experience concerning heat and energy interconversions. One simple statement of the law is that heat always moves from hotter objects to colder objects, unless energy in some form is supplied to reverse the direction of heat flow. Another definition is not all heat energy can be converted into work in a cyclic process. That follows the first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics is a formulation of the law of conservation of energy, adapted for thermodynamic processes. A simple formulation is the total energy in a system remains constant, although it may be converted from one form to another. Another common phrasing is that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. While there are many subtleties and implications which may be more precisely captured in more complex formulations, this is the essential principle of the first law. Right? So energy can neither be created nor destroyed. We've heard that before. And the second one, not all heat energy can be converted into work in a cyclic process, right? So why am I bringing that up? Well, if we are left on our own process, if you will, right, without having something else or someone else to plug in and connect with, right, we have no way of continuing on, right, the transformation of the energy in which we were first dealing with. Let me tell you what I mean by that. The energy and the frequency in which you've been operating with, or that you started operating with in life at the moment in time that you were first created, right, until now, you've been operating so on and so forth on that one process, right? Now we are in a new place in time where you have an opportunity to transmute all of your history, all of your past energy, and transmute that energy into another form, another state, if you will, right? Because energy cannot be created nor destroyed, which means that energy can only be transferred from one state into another. That being said, each of us has the opportunity, once again, to take responsibility for your life and to no longer oh man, it's wild. Brother Trey said, I was just reading this law to my students this morning. Damn. That's how it works, man. We synchronize like that. To no longer stay in that state, that one state in which you first existed at, right? So in order to change, in order to progress, in order to know that your evolution is continuously evolving, right? Your evolution doesn't stop. There's no end to your evolution. A true evolution continues to proceed and penetrate, right, through whatever it is that it runs up against, right? It doesn't matter what it is. A true momentum, a true evolution will allow you to transcend whatever that is that's in front of you, right? We also live by a foundational law within Stoicism, or law, but quote, that is, the obstacle in the path becomes the path, believe it was Marcus Aurelius who said that. If not Marcus Aurelius, then Epictetus, right? One of the two. But whoever said it, the object that's in your path is not meant to be an object that stops you from getting to what you want. It's meant to be a stepping stone to help you propel yourself forward, right? So the energy and momentum in which you've been moving with or you were operating with before you started to live on a process, before you started to continuously progress in life, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you were utilizing that energy to transmute what we want out of life right here and right now. Right? So I encourage everybody, man, that's here and tapped in and that desires a true level of expansion in life to take whatever your personal and past energy has been and learn how to transmute that. And how we do that is through our process. Now, if you don't have a process, then you are essentially behind, right? But we want to get you caught up, right? So there's several things that you can do to acquire a greater process, and some of those things are to join our Telegram group, the Master's Table. First and foremost, we have a process in there. It's called a Master's Process. But then aside from that, I encourage everybody to get on the Phase 1 Beast process. Now the price is going up extra $500, you know what I'm saying? Courtesy of, AZD and Yogi Chris, you know what I'm saying? They see the value and they don't want it to be, discounted, you know what I'm saying, from that value or things of that nature. So the price is what it is. If you have the ability to get the link right now, you see this link ahead of time before the price changes, then I encourage you, go get it, do what you got to do, and make that move as soon as possible, because the Phase 1 Beast process is actually, it was a 7-month, it was 9 months really, of a process that it was the original 50 guys, right? 50 monks that were around AZD at the point in time. We're learning and living on a process every single day. And, since then, we've created a whole nother world of experience. You know what I'm saying? That's how IMT Nation formulated. We started to live on a daily process every single day, waking up at a certain time, taking cold showers, working out every single day, reading and studying every single day, eating a certain way every single day, posting on a daily basis on Instagram, YouTube, whatever platform it is that we had. And creating so much that comes as a result of that. There's so much that goes into that experience and that evolution and so on and so forth. But once again, I say all that to say and bring it back full circle and say the evolution, once you get started, it never stops, right? The evolution continues. The evolution evolves. Right? The process of your evolution, it actually continues to grow and expand beyond what it is that you are familiar with. There's no limitations. There's nothing, right, that can stop you from becoming who it is that you want to become. But you have to decide. You have to make the decision. I'm going to become this, and I'm going to go there. Right? I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to live on this process. I'm going to do the things that I'm going to take actions that back up who it is that I say I want to be. I'm going to do what it is that I say I want to do. Therefore, I'm going to have what it is that I want to have out of life. The only reason why you're not where you want to be thus far is because you have not made the decision to do that. Because the moment that you make the decision, you start taking different actions in life, meaning that your behavior changes. And the moment that your behavior changes, you're going to get new results in life. Because that's how this life works. That's the progression of our life, all right, thus far. So, brothers, at this time, I'm going to take a moment to do a meditative moment. We'll only go for about 3 minutes here because I went a little bit over time. I want to take some time, like we do every single episode for the Master's Table, and just tap into the world within, all right? So if you're in a place, in your space where you can close your eyes, begin to do so now and tap into your inner world. We'll start with taking deep breaths in through your nose. Take a very deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top and let it out. With your eyes closed, begin to relax. Begin to see inside what it is that you envision for yourself, for your life. Take another deep breath in through your nose. And let it out through your mouth. Feel your body relax. Feel your mind clear. And get a very, very clear image of what it is that you want for your life. What does it look like as you move forward? Who are you becoming? Making that image more and more clear. Take another deep breath in through your nose. This time, hold it at the top. 3 seconds. And let it out. Relax. For the remainder of the time, just keep your eyes closed and design your world from the inside out. Decide what you're doing as you move forward from this moment on. What actions are you taking that back up who you want to be? What are you doing today that will help you build your tomorrow? Make it clear. See yourself in action, in new environments, having new conversations. Remembering your breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. As we come to our final 30 seconds, begin to thank yourself and appreciate yourself for taking the time out of your day to grow and evolve. Begin to wake up your limbs, your fingers, your toes, open your eyes, reconnect to your outside environment. Always learn to appreciate yourself for moments in time that you take with your own mind, your own perspective, your own character. Nobody else is going to do that work. And so I encourage that activity that we just did. It's called a meditative moment. I encourage these meditative moments on a regular basis, right? At least once or twice throughout your day. One time in the morning, one time at night. Begin to change your world and change your perspective, all right? Gentlemen, I hope it was valuable for you. I appreciate your time being here and tapping in and, adding your perspectives. Thank you for, Obed, for speaking. And I'll leave you with this, the evolution ultimately will never end, right? So you might as well take on the responsibility of guiding your evolution, of guiding what's going to happen next, right? And how you do that is the process in which we just got done doing, right? Closing your eyes, seeing inside clearly what it is that you want to see on the outside, and constantly learning how to tune, right, to that image that you have of yourself from the inside out. That's how you create effects in your world. And that's how you become the ultimate version of yourself, a true master. All right. So without further ado, brothers, I appreciate everybody that tapped in. Until next time, this is a Master's Table. Yes, sir. O's. Talk to y'all soon.